Understanding the concept of emotional receptive capacity. This takes us into journal prompt 28, exploring moments of struggling to receive emotional support. Exercise 36, exploring past incidents of self sabotage. Exercise 37, exploring your deepest desires. And exercise 38, reflecting on past relationships and the dynamics of giving and receiving love. Lots to talk about in this block. And, receptive capacity is something that has been mind blowing and life changing for me because I think so often in relationships, we really don't understand why someone treats us how they treat us, especially when we believe that we are giving them such beautiful love. And it really helped me to see that a lot of us struggle to receive what we want. We want it, we ask for it, we beg for it. That doesn't mean that we have the capacity to receive it. Okay, we talked a little bit about this like in our default setting conversation, right? And our emotional comfort zone and those two conversations, getting something that I want when I definitely have no context for what it is. So, for instance, let's say I want to be a billionaire. Let's just go all the way to the extreme. I want to be a billionaire. I don't actually have context for what that is. I don't actually know what that's going to feel like. I don't actually know what the road to get there is paved with. I don't know. So when I'm meeting these pit stops along the way, I might get really scared and run away from it. Even as I'm headed in the right direction, even as I'm close to getting what I seek, I might really self sabotage. Why? Because it's unfamiliar and unsafe. And as I have harped on this whole course, the ego wants to feel safe, right? So let's put it in a more common context, right? Let's say I want love. I want love. I'm looking for love. I have searched for love. I'm desperate. I want love. But I don't really know what love means or what it requires. I don't have the context for that. So let's say I am stuck in a victim mentality. It is what has served me. That's the perspective that suits me. And now I am getting the things that I want. Well, how do I exist as I know myself presently when I receive everything that I want? I am a victim. It is how I know myself. I live within a victim mentality. Bad things happen to me quite often. That's just the nature of my being. And now something good is happening to me. Well, I don't know who I am in that context. And because I don't know who I am, I don't know what it requires of me. And what if I get what I want and then I lose what I want? And what if I get what I want and I'm a failure at it? And all these other things that will stop my ego from allowing me to receive that very thing that I've been so desperate for, even as it stands right in front of me. So simply wanting something does not give you the capacity to receive something. The exercises that we're going to look at today, they really are forcing you to look at this from multiple perspectives so that you can see it pretty clearly, right? Okay. There have been times when I have tried to give love and it was not received. And in turn, I didn't understand that that was lack of their receptive capacity. I thought that that was some indication of my value and my worth. Well, they haven't chosen me. Well, why are they treating me like this when I'm loving them so well? And so what did I do? Good girl syndrome, good boy syndrome. I decided I was going to do more of the good things. I was going to bend myself out of shape to win their praise, to win their acceptance, to win their love. And I still didn't get it back because they never received what I was trying to give. They didn't receive it. Their eye was tuned to the way that they're a victim. So it doesn't matter how much beautiful love I gave to them, their eye is trained to see how they are a victim first, right? And then they can consider the rest of it. The problem is these people normally lack the emotional maturity to consider the rest of it. So they stop at, I'm a victim. These are the ways she's victimized me. This is why you'll have conversations with people like this, and they will over exaggerate in your mind all the bad things that you've done, and they will under exaggerate all the good things that you've done. Why? Because they have a certain way of seeing the world, and they will not allow themselves to see it any other way. The ego on that battlefield. This is my perspective. It keeps me safe. I know who I am here. I cannot even consider that you're trying to love me well for many reasons. That might be bumping up against the idealized view that I have of myself. It might just be out of my comfort zone. It might just be my default setting to act a certain way. So we have worked on a lot of understanding ego to get us to this place. in understanding this, you can remove yourself from feeling like you are centered in someone else's inability to receive. We're also going to look at ways that we have been unable to receive. And I know that this has happened to me. I have been in a panic. I'm not doing well. I reach out to someone to help me, and they are trying to help me, but I'm so shut down. I'm so broken. I'm so stuck in my spiral that it doesn't matter what they do or say. It's like it's hitting a brick wall. I cannot receive it. It's not helping to regulate or calm me down. I reject it. They feel rejected, and it hurts our relationship. So, receptive capacity really, 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 I think when you understand it, you really understand something very important and very major. It's not enough to give someone something that they want. If they can't receive it, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you want from other people. If you don't have the capacity to receive it, it doesn't matter what they do, how much they turn themselves inside out and do cartwheels. You're not going to be able to receive it either. And what that leads to is a lot of self sabotage, right? And the self sabotage can come for many reasons, right? Like we've already talked about. Self sabotage can come because I feel safe in my dysfunction and you're trying to pull me out of that safety by trying to pull me into peace. I'm not receiving that, right? It might simply be because I'm scared. I'm going into no man's land. And I'm going after something, excuse me, that I have no context for how it's supposed to show up in my life. And it's showing up in ways that I didn't expect it to, of course, because I didn't have context. And now I'm scared and no, I reject it, right? So, and there could be a million more reasons. So the point isn't for me to teach you all these reasons. The point is for you to explore why you may have self sabotage, moments when you may not have been able to receive the very thing that you wanted or that you needed. You know, it's like a child who's over hungry. They're so dysregulated that even as you try to feed them, they might still be keeping their mouth shut and screaming out. They're so used to being in that state of mind that it's hard for them to regulate enough, calm themselves enough so that they can receive the food or that they can receive the nap that they need when they're overtired, right? So if we're overstimulated, if we feel unsafe, it is much less likely that I'm going to be able to take in any new stimuli, especially stimuli that counters my already preconceived notions that have kept me very safe. I need to be able to do that from a much calmer, well regulated, well, more mature place. And that's just not a place many of us get to easily. And it's not a place that we get to in the context of a lot of this, right? Because the mere fact that receiving something is potentially so destabilizing speaks to the fact that I'm already really unstable in the first place energetically. Does that make sense? The fact that I'm giving so much weight to my ability to have this thing and therefore I'm so stressed about potentially losing it means I am clinging to it, and I only cling when I don't feel safe, when I'm a little less stable, right? So I think it's important to remember that we relax when we feel safe and stable, and stability is key to safety, right? And when we don't, when we feel neither safe or stable, either or, we really do kind of brace and we get like really kind of aggressive or assertive or fixated or whatever. We become dysregulated and then we become overly concerned, overly fixated, overly focus on something that doesn't necessarily serve us, right? And we start looking at all the ways that it could fail, that we could mess up. So, in doing these exercises, it should help open the door for you to see yourself clearer and for you to see the truth of how you have stood in your own way and the truth for how you can get out of your own way and therefore get the things that you want out of life. Receive that which you are asking for. It makes your life much easier. But also important here is noticing the times where you really have loved someone well and they simply didn't receive it, but you internalize it as a personal failure of yours, right? Be honest with yourself, but be honest with yourself, please.